Hello, fellow gardeners, and welcome back to the channel. Are you tired of putting in all that work watering, weeding, and waiting, only to end up with small, sad-looking tomatoes? Do your beautiful green fruits develop those ugly, dark, sunken spots on the bottom before they even have a chance to ripen? It's one of the most frustrating things a home gardener can face. You see these pictures of giant, perfect, ruby-red tomatoes and wonder, what am I doing wrong? You go to the garden center, and you're bombarded with a dozen different expensive fertilizers, soil amendments, and specialty calcium sprays, each promising to be the magic bullet. But what if I told you that the secret to growing massive, healthy, restaurant-quality tomatoes doesn't come in a fancy bag or bottle? What if I told you the solution is sitting in most medicine cabinets and costs less than $2? That's right. Today, I'm going to share a dirt-cheap secret that will completely change your tomato game, prevent that dreaded blossom and rot for good, and give you the biggest harvest you've ever had. Forget the expensive stuff. This is the ultimate grow more, spend less hack that seasoned gardeners know but rarely talk about. Stick with me because this one tip is a total game changer. So, let's get right to the root of the problem. That dark, leathery patch on the bottom of your tomatoes is called blossom end rot, and 9 times out of 10, the cause is a lack of available calcium. Your tomato plant is like a construction site, and calcium is the essential building block for creating strong cell walls. Without enough of it, the cells at the blossom end of the fruit, the part furthest from the stem, cut and form properly, and they collapse, creating that ugly rot. Now you might be thinking, but my soil has calcium, and you might be right. The problem often isn't a lack of calcium in the soil itself, but the plant's inability to absorb it efficiently. This can be caused by inconsistent watering, which disrupts the flow of nutrients up the stem, or by soil pH being too high or too low. This is where our $2 secret weapon comes in. What is it? Simple, generic antacid tablets. Yes, you heard me correctly. Those chalky tablets you take for heartburn. Why? Because they are made almost entirely of calcium carbonate, one of the most readily available and easily absorbed forms of calcium for plants. When you put these in the soil, they dissolve and deliver a direct, potent shot of calcium right to the root zone, exactly where the plant needs it most. It's faster, cheaper, and more effective than many of the expensive commercial calcium supplements. It's the perfect immediate cure for this all-too-common tomato tragedy. Now let's talk about the first and best way to use this trick at planting time. Giving your tomato seedling a strong start is the key to a successful season. When you're ready to put your young tomato plant into the garden or into its final container, this is the perfect moment to supercharge its new home. First, dig your planting hole like you normally would. You want it to be deep enough to bury a good portion of the tomato's stem, which will encourage more root growth. And now before you place the plant in the hole, take 2 or 3 of your antacid tablets. You can use them whole, or you can do what I prefer to do. Give them a quick crush. You don't need to turn them into a fine powder. Just breaking them into a few smaller pieces is perfect. Now simply toss those crushed tablets right into the bottom of the hole. I like to mix them in a little bit with the soil at the base. This creates a slow-release calcium reservoir directly underneath the plant. As you water your tomato throughout the season, the tablets will slowly dissolve, consistently feeding calcium to the newly forming roots. This proactive approach ensures your plant has the building blocks it needs from day one, effectively preventing blossom end rot before it even has a chance to start. It's like giving your plant a vitamin pack to take with it as it grows. So place your tomato plant on top, backfill the hole with soil, and water it in well. You've just given your tomato a powerful season-long advantage for less than a dime. But what if your plants are already in the ground? What if you already seeing the first signs of blossom and rot, and you restarting to panic? Don't worry, it's not too late. This method works just as well as a mid-season rescue. If you see a fruit with that telltale black spot, pinch it off immediately. The plant is wasting energy on a fruit that will never recover. Then, it's time for a direct intervention. For an established plant, you'll want to use a slightly higher dose. I recommend using 4 to 5 antacid tablets per plant. Instead of digging up the plant, you're going to perform a little soil surgery. Take your tablets and a small trowel, or even just your fingers. You want to bury them around the plant. The key here is to place them at the drip line, That's the imaginary circle on the ground directly under the outermost leaves of the plant. This is where the most active feeder roots are located. Dig a few small holes, about 4 to 6 inches deep and about 6 inches away from the main stem. You don't want to put them right against the stem, as that could be too concentrated. Drop one tablet into each hole and cover it back up with soil. Burying them is important because it ensures the nutrients go down to the roots and it prevents them from attracting any curious pests. After you've buried all the tablets, give the plant a deep, thorough watering. This will help start the dissolving process and get that much-needed calcium flowing to the fruit. Repeat this process every 6 to 8 weeks throughout the growing season to maintain a steady supply and keep your tomatoes healthy and blemish-free. Now that we've solved the biggest issue with fruit health, let's talk about another $2 trick that helps you grow more by maximizing your plant potential. A healthy tomato plant wants to grow, and it wants to grow tall and wide. But if you let those heavy, fruit-laden vines sprawl all over the ground, you're asking for trouble. Vines on the ground are a magnet for soil-borne diseases, pests like slugs, and the fruit can easily rot from the moisture. Plus, the plant wastes energy supporting itself instead of producing more delicious tomatoes. That's why proper support is non-negotiable. You can buy expensive, fancy tomato cages and clips, but why spend the money? My favorite method for tying up vines is practically free. All you need is some old pantyhose, old t-shirts, or even thick twine. The reason I love using strips of old fabric, especially from pantyhose or stretchy t-shirts, is because they are soft and flexible. They won't cut into the delicate stem of the plant as it grows and sways in the wind, which is a problem you can have with thin wire or plastic ties. Just cut the fabric into long 1-inch wide strips. Gently loop a strip around the vine and then tie it securely to your stake or trellis. This simple act of lifting your vines off the ground improves air circulation, which prevents fungal diseases, allows sunlight to reach all the ripening fruit, and focuses the plant's energy on what matters most, producing a huge, beautiful harvest. It's another simple, cheap trick that makes a world of difference. So there you have it. The secret to growing huge, flawless tomatoes isn't about spending a fortune at the garden center. It's about understanding what your plants truly need and providing it in the simplest, most direct way possible. By using inexpensive antacid tablets at planting time or as a mid-season boost, you can directly combat calcium deficiency and say goodbye to blossom and rot forever. And by using simple, recycled materials to support your vines, you ensure your plant stays healthy and productive, focusing all its energy on creating that bumper crop you've been dreaming of. It truly is about growing more and spending less. I hope these tips help you have your best tomato harvest ever this year. If you found this advice helpful and want to see more expert gardening tips that save you time and money, do me a huge favor and hit that like button. And be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We're all about helping you create the garden of your dreams without breaking the bank. Thank you so much for watching, and happy gardening.